Hello, welcome to Project Educate India. Make thoughts bearers. This is my first video. Hello, my name is Shriram, and first of all, Happy Children's Day. And on this occasion, we will be starting off with a good note on the lecture on public speaking, which is what we are going to be covering today. First of all, what is Project Educate India? Project Educate India is the motive behind, as given, make thoughts bearers, which is to increase the literacy rate in India and provide education, specifically free education for the undereducated and illiterate people. Now, we are going to start off with what is public speaking. Public speaking, in a nutshell, is the ability to speak up for yourself or any family members or the entire family or a specific community or even the entire world, to speak on behalf of somebody or to speak up for yourself is known as public speaking. The thing is that public speaking is done in front of the public, as the name says, colloquially giving it its name, which means you are bringing awareness to a crowd. There's always a crowd following you in terms of public speaking. And most people might have stage fright. So let's clear it up. I have a quote here that says, "Butterflies in your stomach are better than none, as they help you showcase real emotion." The thing about this quote is, if you have butterflies in your stomach, that is, if you are too nervous to go up on stage, then in that case, your same nervousness might help you perform. So don't worry and step onto the stage. If you are acting as a shy guy in your drama or comedy or whatever you are doing, specifically for playwrights and actors, whenever you have the butterflies in your stomach, that is, you have the nervousness to enter the stage, you feel like you are able to convey the emotions of the character well, because you have the same emotions and you are able to convey them through your own expressions. And that liberty even applies for comedy characters. Yes, you heard me right. Even for comedy characters. In case you are making a comedy character and you are very nervous to go up on stage as the character, then everything around you almost suddenly, creepily feels funny. And the only thing that is mainly funny is actually nothing. It's just your fear of the stages and your fright that something might go wrong, that makes you laugh at everything you see hysterically. And in that case as well, you are able to portray your comedian character well. And in fact, for those who don't have stage fright, they have to rely on acting. Sometimes they even use emotional stimulus to get them crying or get them laughing instead. And in both cases, all rules apply, because the emotional stimulus they use is real. But if you have stage fright, then you don't need a stimulus to stimulate your emotions. The natural stimulus is just whatever you have around you. You feel like everything's just creepy and oddly placed, like, oh my god, why is there a random butterfly there? It's a butterfly. And then you start laughing uncontrollably. Now, also for those people who aspire to be actors, you need to be emotionally versatile, and you also need to learn how to convey sentences emotionally. The most emotionally versatile sentence which you can use in this case is "I'm waiting" or "I'm waiting for you," which can be said in a number of ways. Now you might have heard these in movies and TV realities and many others. The biggest reason is because of how emotionally versatile it is and how many emotions you can convey with them. The first emotion and the primary emotion for the said words is romance. I'm waiting for you. I'm always waiting for you. That feels like a wholesome guarantee in a way. There's also grief, in which case I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for you. I'm still there. And that conveys more because, of course, you apply speech emphasis, which is what makes this sentence so versatile in emotions. Depending on the way you say it, people take it differently. So, in case there's something to do, well, no need of acting. You just need to convey what you think it should be. In most cases, of course, it's melodramas that come out the most in the 21st century. And you need antagonism, romance, and sometimes a little bit of masala to add for it. That's like, oh yeah, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting. Remember that. In a threatening way, or even an even more romantic way. That is more than just a wholesome I'm waiting. A person wholly feels their emotion in guilt sometimes. It's like, I'm still waiting for you. Where have you been? And then goes to hug the female protagonist, or vice versa, the male protagonist. So, in this case, romance can be conveyed both before and after a certain event has happened. Now, is it the same for antagonism? No. Antagonism is one-sided, meaning if you use it once, then there's no necessity to use it again. This is because of a powerful writing of the villain character, which allows for that one word to echo in the heart forever. Which means if the antagonist waits for you, then you're doomed. There's no more time waiting. There's also a bored or impatient way, like, I'm still waiting, man. I'm still waiting. I've told you many times, I'm still waiting. And in that case, the audience would think that you are very impatient and a rushy character in way. And these are just for speech emphasis. That is, certain parts of the sentences you have to emphasize to show different emotions. On top of this, there's control, also known as body language. Of course, we all know body language as movement of body in synchronization with the speech. But no, it doesn't just stop there. It conveys emotion because in most cases, people are not going to be like having any dialogues, especially those in the background you might have seen in movies. And for those people in the background, they have to act. Especially a big example is of coolie workers who are enraged and tensioned and alarmed that their boss has not yet received a cut from their stash. So the revenue they are expecting from shipping and the income they are expecting from whatever load they do, none of it is coming in that case. Or some other reaction might help them show themselves, that is, to be the highlight, to be seen uniquely out of a crowd. And also, there's one more thing, that body language helps you if you don't know how to emphasize your speech. The speech emphasis is a special skill for most, as some are not able to afford such a skill. For those people, there always exists body language. Where if you just go, I'm waiting for you, then, I'm waiting for you. That applies to I'm waiting for you with gun out. All of this is because more than your speech is in a formal way and you don't want to break your formality but also want to maintain your character. And in such cases, body language helps with no speech emphasis. There's also another thing related to public speaking, which is political protests, demonstrations, in fact, and in most cases, it's just constructive criticism. Now, you might wonder why, and the simplest reason is that people just want to rule, but their race to power isn't just political. No. It involves a lot of speaking. For those who want to engage in these political criticism plans or anything, those who aspire to be politicians, I recommend you watch the TV reality debates in Tamil language, specifically known as Pattimandram, in which instead of giving up for each other on points or anything, their debate goes on without giving up. But at the end, the resolution is that even though there are many pathways, each of them have their own pros and cons, and you must carefully choose your path because based on what you pick, your life is at stake. And I feel like that's just wonderful as inspiration for public speaking, especially in political scenarios. And for those who want to go in politics, you should also ask yourself, instead of asking, actually, first let's see what not to ask is who must cook and who must engage in businesses. Now, some people might go stereotypically and say that women must cook and men must engage in business, while some go vice versa and say that men must cook while women must engage in business. But now we must ask ourselves instead, why are women made to cook in most areas and most scenarios, and why are men allocated with the business and trade opportunities with the merchants and many others? Well, why can't it be vice versa? To note is that vice versa in this case also means that men are cooking and women are handling business affairs. But by asking why, you are emphasizing that something is wrong with just having one person to cook and handle business affairs. Which means, in technicality, you are asking them, why don't we balance it between both men and women? For women, cooking is their strong point, so they can take up more work in the kitchen. But they must also focus on business. And most people raise their sons into business the same way in which they raise their daughters into cooking. And hence they handle most of the business. But why can't the men cook as well? So it's a little bit of both worlds. There's another very good usage, which is in terms of discussions, specifically in history and philosophy. Now, in history, instead of asking why, you should ask why not, because in most cases it is theoretical until further proof can be given and identified as proper proof. Until then, everything is just a theory. So, what do? You come up with theoretical reasoning. That is, you find why those theories could be real and you implement them into your speech. Also, try optimism, that is, instead of asking why, ask why not. As I mentioned earlier, this increases positivity and gives the audience hope. And in terms of philosophy, the simplest exercise you could do is to lie in bed and ask yourself questions about yourself. Not like what is my name, what is my job, or am I a student, or no, none of those. No. You must ask yourself questions about yourself that you might not be able to answer, such as why was I born in this specific place out of the millions of places on earth? The thing is, it's all destiny. And the destiny that is up to our parents. And you might wonder, why are our parents here? It's because it's their choice. When they were born, they did not have a choice on where they were born, because it depended. They had to depend on their parents for their location of birth, and we rely on our parents for our place of birth. But then soon we can migrate to more places, and anyways the offsprings would be born in different areas. You see, it's not always about the location. It's about the traits that you carry from your parents. And why are you born to your parents? Because you are the one to inherit their traits. So, you see, it sounds like such a complex question, but it's such a simple answer, and that answer is always within your heart. So, ask yourselves some deep questions that you might not have asked yourself before. They are very easy to answer, they sound complex to answer. In that case, your questioning skills, that is, to ask counter questions for any given question while also answering it simultaneously, and also improves your problem solving skills, that is, the ability to solve any given problem by looking within instead of looking around. Like, people cheat in exams, like, oh my god, what is there, by looking around them, but they don't realize that they have the answers inside them, and the only reason why they couldn't answer is because they forgot. So just look deep within yourself and you'll find the answers. Also, this strangely familiar philosophical concept, of course, has its familiarity because it is one of the key points in public speaking. You must think within yourself to get some points out that speak of yourself or anybody you are speaking on behalf of, and you can bring the truth out to millions, if not billions. And these are some of the tips that I would give for public speaking who do not understand the concept. Neither do they understand how. So, for those who have any doubts, ask your doubts in the comment section below, and I will definitely try to make a video addressing those doubts. For now, it's me, Shriram, signing off from Project Educate India. Thank you for watching. Again, one final time, Happy Children's Day, and keep on studying, people. Let's make our India great. Jai Hind.